People ask me a lot at the moment, why is it only now that you've made a solo record? I said, well, it's Richard Russell's fault. Well, I suppose the first thing to establish is how we met.
Well, we went to the same gym for a long time.
Yeah, you can see eyebrows being raised a bit when they say, how did you meet Brian Eno? And I said, well, I met him in the health club.
Yeah. No, people do wonder about this health club with, with all of us knocking around in it.
And I probably did meet him in the showers.
Yeah. Same there.
Well, we were going there for quite a while and not talking to each
No.
other. I mean, probably 2 years or something.
Yeah.
And then I met Richard when I got a call from my old manager, Chris, saying I should go and talk to Richard because they might be interested in putting out the record of Monkey Journey to the West, which was something that had been passed on by my record label at the time.
And this is one of my specialties, things that have been passed on by everyone.
And subsequently, we became great friends, and the whole of Got to Know XL for a fantastic group of people. I really enjoyed working with you guys. And then I asked you whether you'd be up for coming and help me make a record with Bobby.
Yeah.
And we made a record with Bobby Womack. We spent a lot of time in this studio and really sort of established a way of working between us because we've got a very different set of tools, haven't we, really?
So I'm very interested in all the things you do, but I can't do them.
Yeah. Well,
that's always a good,
versa, exactly.
It's always a good basis,
Yeah.
And I've got opinions about them, as you do about the things that I do.
Yes.
But they're not the things that we would naturally get up in the morning and do.
But that is the joy of collaboration.
Yeah. The thing with working with Bobby as well was because we were so in the service of a greater good.
Yeah.
To make something great for him.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I know this is for Vice, but I just wanted to talk about the Travelling Wilburys a bit.
Okay. Didn't see that coming.
Because Travelling Wilburys was quite functional, right? There was all these people: Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
George Harrison,
Yeah.
Jeff Lynne,
and Tom Petty.
Tom Petty. But why did that work? Because it was Roy Orbison.
Yeah,
That's why it worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Because none of those egos
were
allowed to get into it, because it was like, this is for Roy Orbison. And they'd all grown up listening to that voice and they wanted it to be good for him. Mm-hmm. So I'm not comparing us and Bobby to the Travelling Wilburys.
Oh, I can see the parallel.
Although, if this is my opportunity to get the Travelling Wilburys into the Vice world, I will take it.
Okay.
Yeah, so giving Bobby that opportunity, that was a bit of a highlight of everything, really. Mm-hmm. I guess because Bobby hadn't been productive in studio terms for so long.
No, I don't think he ever thought he would make another record, really. I think he'd sort of resigned himself to sitting on the sofa for the rest of his life. I think also the sort of work ethic that exists in this building, which is very much you start 10 o'clock and you finish at 6, was good for him. I don't think he'd encountered that before.
I don't think when Bobby was working with Sly Stone it was like that.
No. I mean, I remember when we were rehearsing Gorillaz for Coachella and Sly Stone was in the studio next door and Bobby was very nervous about, that was a kind of world which he'd actively and sort of finally removed himself from. Sly didn't actually make it to rehearsal, he just was in his Winnebago outside the rehearsal room. But I think for Bobby that was a very sobering reminder of what he managed to remove himself from.
Yeah.
Because he fucked up.
But I think so actually to continue this narrative, you and me found a natural way of working together which was just effortless and works. And I think Bobby was able to kind of come in and we were able to tailor that towards him.
Yeah.
And then we were sort of then, I think off the back of that, we were kind of just carrying on.
We kind of sort of played with the idea of starting a new band, a duo, but I mean, 45-year-old men starting a sort of male duo.
I'm all for that.
And then you came in and said, I know what we should do.
We could have been soft sell.
Yeah, what did you say? I mean, I know what you said.
I don't have no idea.
You can't remember what you said?
No, I
well,
thought
you came in and said, I mean, it's your fault, this record,
Okay.
you know that. It's your responsibility. It would never have happened otherwise, because after we'd had these discussions,
Yeah.
realised that it was a foolish thing.
Too late to be the new communards.
Yes, or Wham. Which I think is what we were secretly hoping we could become.
It's not too late.
It's never too late to be not to be Wham. You came and said, I would like to produce you.
Right.
And so, you know, a relationship that had been very much established on us both sort of sitting like this with the artist was all kind of sort of reversed at that moment, and I became Damon Albarn.
Yeah. I think that was prompted, though, because some of the stuff we were doing before that, you were hinting at being more vocal and more melodic, but we were using effects and stuff. And it was
at one point I'd become a...
Mavis.
Mavis, yeah.
Yeah, the old lady.
Yeah, I'd become an old lady.
Vocals. But
yeah.
It's
funny how you get to things, really. Mavis is still out there, though.
Yeah, Mavis could come back.
Yeah.
But that felt like I wanted to hear you, being you.
Riff me up, accepting that you live with uncertainty. If you're lonely, press play.
This was it was a sort of personal record for you, and I had to be able to be very sort of clear-minded about it musically and just everything in terms of being an editor. So it was actually, I think, quite refreshing for me.
I've found that when you do something as personal and, in this case, completely autobiographical, there's nothing made up, and to have someone who is prepared to sort of be an editor of that was essential, you know, because I mean, a book in any form needs an editor. It always does. It always benefits from having an editor.
Yeah.
And there were certain lines which, you know, I remember. I mean, the big one for me was in Selfish Giant. It's hard to be a lover when the TV's on and nothing's in your eyes. Which, I was really uncomfortable about keeping in. Mm-hmm. I just felt I feel uncomfortable singing that. It's true, but it's painful to go through with that. And you were like, no, you've got to do that. You've got
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
You've got to stay the course.
And I had strong feelings about all of that. But I think when this works, when you're in tune, that's the joy.
I live for that sense of community, you know. I love it.
The world still awaits your Twitter debut.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because it's not ever going to happen because I only have a hooky Nokia made in Nigeria. I don't think you can even Twitter on it. I don't think it's of that technology.
I mean, I'm sure it's for the best, but it would be entertaining.
I'm not of that world. You know, you like me, we grew up in a world where there was one telephone in the house, and if no one answered, it wasn't suddenly like that you were ignoring someone, or it was in any way an insult, or that there was a problem with you just weren't in the room. I've just never liked telephones, and I mean I disliked telephones so much as a kid that I remember taking out the local telephone exchange in my road so that I didn't have to use a telephone for some awkward phone call I had to make or something. I mean I was quite militant about it, you know. I'd take out the system.
But how did you take it out?
I just pulled all the wires out of the box. But I wasn't trying to take out the whole of the road. It's just our exchange outside the house. Just like pull the wires out.
Yeah.
Vandalism.
Got his place.
We are everyday robots on our phones, in the process of getting home, looking like standing stones.
You know, Vice is like a big sort of empire now.
No, I know. It's impressive.
No one saw that coming, I don't think. Vice, from what it was, becoming that. Just like no one saw it coming with you either, from Blur. I didn't.
No.
No, I think this happens a lot.
Yeah, well, I think...
You look at something and you're like, and then it turns into something else, and everyone's like, how'd that happen? It's like my little rave label becoming what it's become.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't see that coming. We weren't even the best rave label.
No.
You know, Shut Up and Dance was better than Next Up.
Yeah.
Suburban Bass was better than it. You didn't, you know, Blur, I remember getting sent the first Blur record.
Yeah. No, well, but I would agree with you about the first record.
Yeah.
I failed spectacularly.
I didn't want to be mean about it.
No, I was like appalled by it. It was like, so that really, really sobered me up. And
Because you weren't happy doing what you were doing.
No, I was just like, this is not what. I mean, I want to be in a band. I want to travel the world. I want all of that, but I don't want to do it if it's like this. I've got to be at least on my own terms. It's not worth doing it otherwise.
The single, Impulse Promotion, sent it to me as a DJ.
Yeah, they would have done. Yeah, you used to get these reaction forms, and it was like, you know, good.
Yeah, playing
very good.
Playing it regularly. It's like in my warm-up set.
Yeah, audience reaction.
Audience reaction.
Yeah, poor, indifferent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it worked back then.
Yeah. And now look at you.
Arrhythmia, accepting that you live with uncertainty. If you're lonely, press play.